Okay, so I have created the UI for it. Okay, all you have to do, I just like merge these cells, black background, white for, highlight all these cells, fill color white, and then I've just typed in these cells and set the font and make it visible, clear. Now comes the actual part. So we need to include a drop down box for the energy performance A, B, C, D. Okay, but before we do that, for tariff number, we just need a simple input box. So first things first, you have to make sure your developer menu is open. If it's not open, then it's go to options and customize ribbon. And from here, make sure your developer's tool is checked and okay. Right, so you'll come here. This is used when you want to record your macros or when you want to create a form and do further things. When we come to insert, we have two categories, form controls and ActiveX controls. Both work the same way. These are actually the built-in Excel forms controls that you have. These are the external controls, which are like downloaded. They are external. The only difference is with the flexibility ActiveX controls provide you with respect to customizing the colors, and a lot of more properties are here as compared to form. However, the actual working is the same. Only ActiveX allows you for further customization. So when and where possible, go with ActiveX controls. Okay. So we just need an input box for tariff number, so which is the text box. So user will type in something here. Okay. Adjusted. Next. Size of the system. Okay, we need one more here. So we'll put here energy performance certificate. Okay, just wrap text it. Okay. So a drop down for this. Again, developer, insert, combo box. Okay. So this is my combo box. I'm going to create this. Okay, now when I go to the properties, I will have to create a list for it, a list fill range and a linked cell. Linked cell is basically whatever your selection is, in which cell the answer should appear in. Okay, so right now they didn't ask us to put the answer to an actual cell. Okay, however, I'll show you how to work with it. For list fill range, we need to create a list first and then reference that using the cell reference. So we will close this first, you will create a list. Now you can give this you can name this cell so it's easier for you, or over there you can provide the range also. So if I'll just give this system size. Okay, now when I go to the properties, click on this, make sure you're in the design mode, go to properties. Now I can simply give the name of the this named cell range. Now linked cell is basically, for instance, if I click any here, okay, they didn't ask us for now. You don't have to click, actually you have to type it. Okay, so if I put this, what is it? J12, let's put it J12. They may specify, if given in question, they can ask you that it has to show in this particular cell, so you will link it to that cell, of course, okay? So when I close this, go out of the design mode, drop down, so I have all my list. Now when I select it, it comes over here also, as well as on the linked cell also. So this entirely depends upon where they want you to link it. Okay, so my drop down is created. Next, for size of the system, I need a scroll bar or a slider or a spinner. So I'll go to my insert. I can either select a spin button or I can select a scroll bar. Okay, so in the picture it shows a scroll bar, so let's go with the scroll bar. Both way works the same way, so you can experiment with either. So when I am creating this, I will put it down below, okay, because I'm trying to replicate the question. Right. Again, properties. Now when I scroll down, scrolling maximum should be 9.99 and the minimum should be 0.01. But unfortunately, the increments do not allow for decimal increments, so we have to go for integer here. But later on, we can work around the decimal. So I'll just put the maximum 999. Okay, and I'll close it. Okay, one more thing before closing it, again linked cell. So let me put this in J13 now, right below the J12, the previous one. Close it. So now out of the design mode, and when you increment it, I can see how it's incrementing in ones. But the problem is I want in decimals. So there is a hack around it, and I want the answer maybe to be displayed here. Okay, so let me just customize it first. Merge it. Nothing to actually. Let me do this differently. Merge it. Here I can write KWH. Okay, I can move this down below a little bit. Okay, you can further, increase the size and customize it more further later on. Okay, and for instance, yeah, I want the answer to appear here, right? Like the final, like 0.01, and this is where it's coming with respect to the linked cell. So what I will do, I will just use a little formula here, equals to this divided by 100. Okay, so developer outside the design mode. Now when you increment it, you will get it. So when I type here 999, the maximum value will be 9.9. So this is also fine. Okay. You can customize it. Next, for renewable, we need a group set of option buttons. Now, if I go with design mode, now if I go with directly with my option buttons here, form controls or ActiveX anything. Okay, so what will happen? Control D when you press, you can get copies. You can create more. So for example, I need 2 for here and 2 for house type, right? Now the problem is, if I do not create a grouped set of option buttons, then when I select this or if I select any other, that one only gets selected. Okay, so I don't want this to happen. I want either one should be selected here and also either one should be selected here. So I can only achieve this if these two buttons are grouped and these two buttons are grouped. So I will have to delete all this. First, I will have to add a group box. Within that group box, I will add the option button. So I'll go to insert, and in my forms, I have that option, form controls. Okay, so I'm just going to create a group box. Then within that, I will add the form controls the radio button from the form controls. Okay. And control D, adjusted. Okay, now right click, we need to edit the text. So the second one is wind, solar PV. Okay, now one more thing needs to be done. Like if I go to the properties, okay, format control, or you can go from the properties here also. Okay, now in control, again, if they ask you that when the person selects something, the answer should appear in a particular cell, so you will give the cell link here. So let me give here as J14. Okay, and okay, same thing here. No, because it's group, so it will be linked to the same one. So if I go outside the design mode, it's 1. When I select this, it's 2. Okay, so the link needs to be given only to 1 and it will link to the same cell because it's in one group. You can just remove this group box heading, I don't need that. Okay, so same thing here. Control D for the next one. Okay, now for the certification we need micro-enable certification, and we need a checkbox for that. So we can select here, or we can select from ActiveX also. Okay, so we are done. Now what you can do is, you can, any helper cells that you used, you can simply hide them, and that's not going to create any problem. Okay, if you don't want to show them anywhere. So your form is complete.